Dude, did I ever tell you, we used to win all the carnival games in Italy because nobody throws stuff. It's like a soccer country, obviously. So like my brother and my dad and I would just like show up to these fairs and just like go home with all the livestock, bro.
Wow.
Chickens, ducks. I'm serious. Live ducks. We had a live duck.
What did you do with that?
We kept it and it ended up drowning, which like...
You wouldn't have thought.
I actually wonder about the drowning story. It seems like a lie, sort of like the skateboard story. I think my parents just conspired to like tell me these lies about how my pets died. The duck supposedly drowned, and I was like, it's a duck. What are you talking about? Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please. Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me.
Yeah.
Which, of course you were.
Oh, yeah. Oops, the podcast here. We're back with the whole squad, the whole team.
Hell yeah.
Giulio Gallerati to my immediate right. We've got Ryan, hang 'em high, Lynch. It feels inappropriate. We've got Chris. Okay, so what's up, everybody?
I have a mic now.
That's
Hey.
pretty good.
Hey.
Hot mic.
Okay.
Hey.
Boys are here. We're buzzing. We
We all have
are
mics now. Look at this.
upstairs, which always adds a different element. We're at the dining table.
It's fun.
Big room, nice room, plenty of light, air conditioning going hard, very cavernous. That's starting to sound arrogant. I just like it up here because, you know, it feels like a round table. Feels like we're sitting down to hash things out.
It also feels like we're doing something different, which in the proximity with which we've recorded the last couple episodes,
Yeah,
nice to shake it up a little.
that's right.
You know, good to have
This feels
Ryan
like
back in the hot seat.
A proper podcast. Now, let me ask you something in light of what I just said. And this is the question I have for you. When was the last time you sat a guy down to hash something out?
Like if you had a problem.
Yeah, let's say that. Let's say that the two of you had a little bad blood or a little something you needed to air out.
Let's talk.
Had a little dirty laundry. Maybe you guys weren't seeing eye to eye. You know, we've got a bone to
We should
pick.
talk. It's been a while, but I've done it. And before I did it, I had not really done it. And when I did it, I was like, this is very effective.
It's amazing.
It's
amazing.
very
Now,
effective.
did you set it up? Did you say something like, "Listen, let's hash it out"?
Not quite that sort of like direct, but the next step down from that, which is we should have a talk.
What? That's way worse
should talk.
to me.
No, but we should hash it out suggests that it needs to be hashed out. We should have a talk doesn't necessarily.
Have a talk has always been the gold standard in fear-inducing language here on Oops the Podcast.
We need to talk as an introduction that something is wrong. Agreed. But once it has been addressed that something is wrong, I think we need to hash it out is more sort of direct language.
Hash it out to me
That's my
feels. I mean, you could say, "Oh well, we got a big trip to plan. Let's hash it out."
You could, but in the context of a disagreement,
Yeah,
you know.
but a talk.
Why don't we talk, man? That's
That's
soft.
more. That's gentler.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, that we need to talk. Let's have a talk. Why don't we sit down and have a talk,
Yeah.
as opposed to let's hash it out? Is this happening to you recently?
No. No, it hasn't. It has not.
This seems like
Fortunately.
something you would do.
Well, I do revert to that. I think I do.
It's
I
good.
do revert to that.
It's good.
I have to tell you, you know, when you suggest it, once you're bickering with somebody or even fighting via text or whatever it is, if you say, "Let's have a talk. Let's do this. Let's you know what? Let's get together. Let's do this. Let's have a beer. Let's talk." It instantly typically makes the other person feel that you truly do want to solve it.
Agreed.
It's a step towards peace.
Yes.
It's a peace offering.
Yes.
Because it means you respect them enough to want a face-to-face, a tete-a-tete.
Yes.
Mano e mano.
It's a reconciliatory measure.
Yes, a summit.
A summit of sorts.
A summit. Exactly right.
Talks have begun.
Yes, peace talks. So, it's funny. I said that hasn't happened. I did suggest it recently because I had a very dear friend that I'd had a disagreement with, where a lot of it was just stupid text context being lost because you can't hear people's tone over text. You can't read between the lines, or you do.
So what happened though?
You overread.
Was somebody joking and then it didn't play as a joke?
It was an interesting thing actually. It was a really interesting thing. You know what it was? You know what it was? It was this. And I think my friend wouldn't be too troubled if I shared this because it doesn't implicate him. But it was a big group chat of our friends, and the Uvalde shooting had happened, and I was pretty upset.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent something to the group about, I don't even know what I said. I think I said something ridiculous. I had a really hot take, which was, if we ever catch these guys alive before they kill themselves or before they're killed,
gunned down,
we should implicate, or we should impose the most medieval, draconian torture to death method as a deterrent. Because originally I said,
all right,
execute them in the most horrible imaginable way. And my other buddy was like, execution's not a deterrent to these people. They know that they're going to die. They expect to die. And I said, it is if we use, drawing and quartering.
Right. Our weeks and weeks of torture.
Something that would be
prolonging this painful life of theirs.
Put them in that movie Hostel.
Right.
Where you can give sickos, you could give other would-be shooters, have them pay a fee, and
to mutilate.
Here's a tool belt,
mass murderers,
and some other fun items to play with, and here you go, have at it, and take your time. And if we made that public, and we, because public executions used to be public,
they did.
They'd take people to the middle of the town square.
In the 21st century, even they've still done them.
Yeah,
I think most places do not anymore.
Roll out the guillotine, or that the gallows ropes would be swinging, and all of that was as a way of deterring people by showing the death. It would say to would-be criminals, this is what awaits you if you steal an apple.
I've never understood the obviously I've only been able to see these things happen in movies, but the scene where they're doing the public execution and everybody in the town gathers to watch it. It's just kind of
with their
you
kids.
Guys didn't have anything better to do. You're like, oh man, they're going to hang Frank today. We got to go check that out, dude.
Fathers would put their little daughters on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Like they were at a Peter, Paul, and Mary concert.
Right. The hot dog eating competition in fucking Coney Island.
Dad, I can't see his spine separate. I need a better view. Get up there,
here,
quick.
Sweetie Pie.
They're about to drop him.
And we'll go have a picnic after. What an exciting day.
That's obviously pretty barbaric, but I mean, even more barbaric are the executions where the townspeople would take part, stoning to death. Right. Here's a barrel of rocks. Who's got a good arm? Step right up. Guess the speed of your pitch. 3 rocks for $2.
Dude, did I ever tell you, we used to win all the carnival games in Italy because nobody throws stuff. Everybody, it's like a soccer country, obviously. So my brother and my dad and I would just show up to these fairs and just go home with all the livestock, bro.
Wow.
Chickens, ducks. I'm serious. Live ducks. We had a live duck.
What did you do with that?
We kept it and it ended up drowning, which
you wouldn't have thought.
I actually wonder about the drowning story. It seems like a lie, sort of like the skateboard story. I think my parents just conspired to tell me these lies about how my pets died. The duck supposedly drowned, and I was like, "It's a duck. What are you talking about?"
Isn't that an amphibious bird?
Yeah, exactly. It's designed like the hull of a boat. Yeah. It should float. And they were like, "Yeah, but it was in a cage. So when the water level rose."
What? I was like, they put the duck in the water in a cage?
Dude, so I think that a coyote must have eaten it.
Like in Deer Hunter?
Yeah. So I just think that something more brutal must have happened to the duck. His name was Pinu.
Uh-huh.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, well, Why did we get here?
Public executions, torturing people. Oh, because.
Okay. My friend in the argument I was having with my friend. Classic little
circle back.
Come on, rewind here.
Here we go.
So I said that's one idea. That's one idea is that we could try to make the consequences so horrific and so horrifying that people would not want to, they even running the slight risk that they might not be able to kill themselves before the police caught them would be enough to maybe deter them. And a friend of mine was mad that we didn't weigh in with such anger and frustration after the killings in Buffalo.
Okay.
He said something like, "Where was all of this
during Buffalo?"
And that's a valid point, And I think I said something. Well, I'm much more moved because it's kids,
right? Which is a good response.
Yeah, and it was sort of just a contentious back and forth from there, and then ultimately we texted each other on the side and I said, I hope I love you, and let's get together and we'll have a good talk about this, and that was immediately deflating in the right way. It let the hot air out of the tire, and we still haven't managed to get together because we've both been traveling a lot. But and now it's been so long that I hope we can just hang out and not talk about it.
I think that you could hang out and it'll be one of those things where it's going to be hard to figure out when to address it. But I see you. Hey man, what's up? And as you guys are walking to the kitchen where you're going to prepare him a beverage, you over your shoulder, you're going to be like,
yeah,
dude, the group chat thing. And it'll be over before the drink is even fully mixed.
Right.
That's my prediction.
Right. Yeah. Doing something. It's similar to what I said about going on that golf trip with my dad. If you're doing something with your hands, so you don't have to look at each other, you can just look at what you're doing. And it doesn't appear that you're not giving that person the benefit of your full attention because you can't. I got a drink to make.
Right.
Right. And then you can actually speak honestly and truthfully without it being awkward.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's weird. We so often we sit next to each other, so we kind of cast side eyes at each other.
Yeah, this is true.
We're looking at each other in our rear view mirrors. And so now to do this, it's like we're on a little man date.
That's interesting. Yeah, we've changed up the seating format slightly.
Yeah.
So, dude, I got to ask you. So we're talking about bachelorette parties, my bachelorette party eventually, etc. And I have this feeling that you want to do something, but you can't really figure out exactly how you want to do it. And you don't want to burden people, but you would like to do something. It would be fun to celebrate. You like a camaraderie moment. I mean, you sing with other men, arm in arm, and you enjoy that.
Yes, I do.
So, what is the state of your thoughts about this?
Sierra's really pushing me, and I think that seeing how much fun she had on her bachelorette is definitely reawakening that itch a little bit. If it were anything, it would probably just be a fun dinner up on our here, up on the deck or something like that. Maybe get a cook to come in. Everybody throws in $50, and we just have a nice evening of it. Have some drinks.
Nice.
Maybe everybody. I did a bachelorette party. A very dear friend of mine we went to, where everyone told 2 truths and a lie about the guy.
Oh, that's fun.
And
a bachelor party?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we all had to vote on what we thought the lie was.
That's like to tell the truth, right?
Or maybe it was what we thought the lie was, and then the person that ended up with the most poker chips at the end of the night, you get a poker chip if you win the thing, won all the ante from everybody. Everybody answered $5.
That's
so it was
fun.
a gambling element, but also a learning and roasting kind of moment of the guy. And it was so well done, in fact, that the guy himself sometimes had trouble
Oh wow.
getting the correct answer,
Interesting. That is good.
which was cool.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I would be happy to, be
You know,
involved or
I see what you're doing here.
help get the ball rolling.
You're
at
trying to
least.
run the show.
I'm not, but
Trying to weasel your way in.
I'd be willing to talk to the proper people to get the ball rolling.
You sound like the people on Succession when they're like, okay, Dad can't run the company anymore. Who's the right successor?
Who's the right person?
And
to
they're like,
step in?
well, I mean, I would do it. I would do it. Yeah. Oh, would you now, Roman?
Okay.
I'm being such an asshole. I would be honored, of course. No, that would be amazing.
No, I was doing a Kendall impression.
Oh,
He was okay.
yeah.
No, but that's
you
funny.
Stop me dead in my
No,
tracks.
dude, that is funny.
Huh.
No, I think that if no one else, I'm sure other people will step up and get involved. But we've talked about this in the past. It would be I would feel too much pressure having to plan it all myself. But I could help get the conversation started with everybody if you wanted. Talk to the people that I have direct contact with, who are in contact with the rest of the greater group who would be involved. And, I know that I would certainly be excited to do something.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I appreciate that. That's all it needs to be is a dinner, even on a weeknight. I almost feel like, fuck, we're in the middle of summer. People's weekends are accounted for. Everyone, because you got to rent a house if you want to go anywhere. So people have planned well ahead.
Yeah, right.
There's not a lot of spontaneity. Not a lot of who's here this weekend.
Right.
Everybody's away. Everybody gone. Speaking of gone, Ryan just got back from a big weekend. He had an incredible wedding weekend out in San Francisco. He had a hard time getting there. This is a good
What happened, Ryan?
flight battle.
Yeah, so I flew out and I was leaving from JFK directly to San Francisco. We were supposed to take off at 6:30 a.m. We boarded right before, and we're sitting on the plane for 4.5 hours.
What time did you wake up for a 6:30 a.m. JFK flight?
I woke up at 3:30.
That is so preposterous. That's like you work for FedEx or something.
Yeah.
It sucks.
3:30 a.m. wake up. You cannot go to bed the night before.
It's really bad.
So I woke up at 3:30, Uber at 4, check-in at 5:30, board at 6. We're just sitting on the plane for 4.5 hours. We're online and we're about to take off, and the pilot lets us know that we might have to get out of line and deplane because he's already reached his hours for the day.
Yeah.
Along with the staff, they can't legally fly more than X amount of
Wow.
hours. So we're just mortified. But then he said, you know what? I'll just fly you guys to Denver and at least get you out there. So we went to Denver. We deplane. We sit there for 3 hours. Keep in mind, I'm supposed to be in California I'm supposed to land 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. I ended up landing in San Francisco at 5:30. And
Terrible.
on the second flight, we didn't take off for an extra hour just because they were waiting for the catering snack cart with the little meal boxes
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
and ice cubes.
Did you buy a meal box?
I did buy a tapas box.
You did.
On the first flight, I was like, this is
did.
going to be a while.
What airline?
United.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I often get that tapas box, and I'll tell you what, it sucks. You look at it, you read it, and you think, oh, that might be good. And it's like, all right, how many different types of olive spread
I know.
and cheese
Squares of cheddar cheese.
they have 3 different types of crackers.
Yeah, everything was packaged. I look at the labeling.
What's
like,
what's the best thing in
2019.
that tapas box? There's one answer to this.
Hey, the pita chips?
Mm-mm.
What is it?
What is it
It's
then?
the artichoke hearts.
Oh,
I didn't
God,
have that in mind.
dude.
What airline did you fly?
United.
I would have thought that you would have had.
The artichoke. But
The
there's usually a
artichoke
couple
hearts.
options for the boxes.
They
though.
had yeah, there's 3 of
I'm
them.
thinking the tapas box, though. It's the Mediterranean one.
Oh, I know that one.
The
Yeah.
dip was like an Asiago
Disgusting.
cheese, and then a hummus. The hummus, everything was not refrigerated, so everything
Okay.
just could stay in a closet for years. Everything was packaged in 2019.
I think we need to extend the amount of time that pilots are allowed to fly for. If something like that happens and they time out, I've heard of this. It's never happened to me, knock on wood. But the idea that, oh, we've hit our allowable quota. Well, they've just been sitting there. What has made him less able to do his job as a result of chilling for 4 extra hours?
I don't know. It's a great question.
It's ridiculous.
And then the worst part, I was pretty calm and composed because it is what it is. People were getting angry. But what really ticked me off was when we were on the second flight and I'm sitting in the middle seat and the guy to my left needs to get up to go to the bathroom. That's fine. The guy sitting in the aisle seat was like a 16-year-old kid. And I was like, excuse me. And he, instead of getting up, he just shifted his legs over. And he was tall, and it really pissed me off.
So you were flying, did you have like a big, do you have an emergency exit row seat or anything like that?
No.
He was in the
And
middle.
I was sitting in the aisle seat on my main
He didn't get
flight.
up in a regular coach seat
Coach
row?
seat, didn't get up. I kicked him in the shin.
That
made
is-
made it seem like I
Active war.
fell.
That is
made it seem like I fell.
preposterous.
We gotta get up.
I gave him a little kick.
There is only one time where the shift and go around me move is even acceptable, and that's if
You just need to have room.
there is multiple
Yeah.
feet between that person's knees and the seat in front of them.
No, this guy was so able.
Or
To
if it's
get
a
up.
person sitting next to you,
Like the most able to get up out of anybody on the plane. And oh my God. And he was eating Chex Mix and his fingers were wet. Oh, and I have a weird thing about Chex Mix, regardless, besides the point. I eat it very particularly. And just to see him stuff
do you
his
eat it?
wet hands, I eat them very organized. So like
you take one piece at a
I
time.
eat the pretzels first, then I eat the yellow Chex, then I eat the brown Chex, then I eat the little pita chippy line Tetris piece, then I eat the bagel chip things, and then anything with the spice on it, and this is the original Chex, anything with the spice on it, I keep until the end and then do process of elimination with the least spice to the most spice so that the final bite has the most spice out of everything in my portion. So just to see him
It
stick
really
his
builds.
hands in there and his fingers were wet and I hated
Can
it.
you imagine eating
tough.
That's it.
Chex Mix
That's
with
tough.
no
That's
regard for what's going in your mouth?
I only eat the Chex, and occasionally if I get, dude, don't look at me like that, Ryan. I see him about to explode. I only eat the Chex in the original Chex Mix. Occasionally the little brown circle thing, I'll have a couple of those. The pretzels are done. I toss them out the window.
I don't like Chex Mix at all.
All right.
It feels like I don't know, prison food.
It's pretty good.
Oh, come on.
It's good prison food.
It's meant for tiny bowls at bars.
The jalapeno
Because-
flavor is so good.
Yeah, if you had a different flavor.
Dude, the original is pretty good too, though. It's like a
Classic.
Worcestershire sort of sauce
They're
situation.
all
right?
delicious.
Thank you.
Ugh.
That's
I'm
good.
speaking for the masses.
All right, dude, I have something interesting.
Oh,
I
good.
think. It's actually not that interesting, but I one day bought these like Listerine sprays,
oh yeah.
like a
seen those.
Monaco sort of thing.
Yep.
And it's one of the most worthless items because if you pull it out to use it when you need it, which is when other people are around, you will be laughed at immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. It harkens back to an old fashioned. Yeah. It's that, it was like a cartoon character who thinks he's about to meet some ladies. Like, ooh, a
Yeah.
lady.
And there's always like the guy, like the joke in Ace Ventura, which has been done before, like spraying and it doesn't even go in your mouth.
Yeah.
Like he
So
sprays to the side.
you're close. That was Dumb and Dumber.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it goes in the guy's eyes.
Oh, man.
I think
guess.
Harry does it and he goes, yeah. And he sprays it and it goes in the guy's eyes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But Jim
Dumb.
Carrey, classic
Yeah,
movie.
classic.
Am I wrong?
No, he's right. He's right.
Yeah.
Dude, so good.
Yeah. So, Julio, what's up with you, man?
All right, dude. So I went to a solid core class a couple days ago.
I want to
Um,
ask you about don't let me forget to ask you about your ridiculous.
On my scar on my
Julio's
arm.
wearing 3
You can ask me about
Band-Aids.
it, right? We can talk about that now. That's a good. We can transition.
Well, I want
to
you to
solid
tell
core
us
story.
about yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Start with the scar.
Okay.
You
Well,
hurt yourself.
I fell playing tennis. I fell on the court, and it looks worse than it is. But sometimes when you can scrape yourself pretty easily on a tennis court. I was playing on clay, and I scraped my arm and my leg, and then sort of it dries, and then the clay sort of gets stuck in the scab.
Oof.
So you have this kind of like green,
Yeah.
It's all right. On the mend.
Looked nothing better than a wound that looks worse than it is. You want it to look bad. You want wounds to look really, really bad, but not actually be that bad. The worst thing in the world is something that's really bad, but doesn't look bad.
That is very
Like
bad.
back pain.
I'll tell you why this is bad, though. It's true, but
Back pain is the worst.
it is. It's
Because
bad.
nobody believes you. They don't care.
It also like ages you, sort of.
Yeah.
Having back pain just makes you like seem old.
Dude, college lacrosse senior year, I had the worst back pain. I had sciatica, I had my pinched nerve, which was so painful. I would have to do so much goddamn rehab before we could even step on the practice
Is it
field.
better now?
Heat and all that. Well, simply from resting it, yeah. But the point is, we were playing so much and it hurts so badly, but nobody on the field believes you because everyone's like, well, we're all dealing with our own shit. And it's like, this guy's got a busted knee. This guy's got to tape his ankle. This guy's coming off 3 concussions. What do you have? Oh, you've got back pain.
Bro, people believe you. When you're playing at such a high level like that, people do believe
It's
you.
just a phantom injury that what the trainer will say is like, you can play based on your own pain tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's up to you and you're not playing, then your teammates think you're
I don't know.
a little
Dude,
pussy bitch.
I don't agree with that. If you're this great lacrosse player, you're just going to fake an injury not to play. Like, of course they believe you.
I would often skip squat day. Like I would go do other exercises other than squatting. And that was where everyone
Would be like,
hated
okay.
squatting. And it's like, well, he's doing the other stuff. And it's like, well, if I did squat, that would be the single worst thing
yeah.
for my back pain.
Well, they're idiots then, dude.
Keep coming.
Well, anyway,
Sorry.
but here's an example of what you're talking about. When I used to give tennis lessons, there was this one kid who was like a little chubby. He was super eager. He showed up with like all the new shit, all the new rackets, all the new clothes. And he was telling me how committed he was going to be. And by the end of the summer, he was going to be so good. And then I'd be like, all right, guys, run a couple laps to warm up. And in the first lap, he'd be like, oh my God, I rolled my ankle, dude. Oh, just because he didn't want to run laps. So like, it was that to me is like, okay, dude, you're fucking, because he's actually faking it.
yeah. Yeah. And then he would play?
Yeah, and then he'd play, he'd be fine.
He'd be
bro. But
fine?
He'd always be
Just like a
injured.
soccer player.
Yeah, making excuses. But dude, so this actually, I would argue, it looks so bad that it's bad again because while I'm completely fine with the healing process, other people see it and they're like, "Oh my God, were you able to clean that?
Uh-huh.
You should get that checked out, dude."
Yeah.
Like that is not the reaction you
Everyone
want.
wants you to get it checked out.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why don't you check it out?
Exactly. And then I'm like, "Oh, there's clay in it. It looks weird." And they're like, "It's in it?" What do you mean it's in it? It's insane, dude. I'm like,
Are
what?
you capable of treating yourself?
Sorta. I don't know. I put like some Neosporin adjacent thing on there and threw Band-Aids on it. I don't know.
Do you know where the first aid supplies are in your own apartment?
I thought I had Neosporin and I don't. And I had this other thing that I hope is the right thing to put on it. But yes, in general.
Do you know where your Advil is?
Yes. I know where all that stuff is for the most part.
Yeah.
Do you not?
I have a general idea. I have a few places I could look.
Yeah.
But when Sierra's away, if anything bad happens to me, that might be the end of it.
There are certain things that are in Hillary's bathroom. We aren't allowed in each other's bathrooms.
Right, I know.
So
yeah.
if I need one of those things, I'll ask her for it. If she's gone, I'll ask where it is.
I need special
I don't go in
permission.
there.
I'm hemorrhaging blood from a wound on my cordural artery or whatever it's called. What's the artery? The core something.
All right, dude.
There's one in your foot, I think. All right.
Speaking of core, solid core.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Nicely done.
I know you've done it before, right?
Yes.
It's a preposterously difficult.
It's very hard.
It's very, very hard.
Yeah.
And especially for, and you're like super fit and you still think it's
I
hard.
just think that no matter how, if you don't work on that stuff, if you don't just blast your core, for an hour, at least once a week, anytime you go do that, it's
gonna
impossible.
be really hard, right?
Doesn't matter what else you do.
And they do this thing too, where they're like, if you've done less than 50 classes, do this. If you've
Yeah.
done more, there's less than 25, less than 50. And these are the different. Dude, our instructor was hilarious. He was doing this thing where he would, at the end of sentences, he would make a sound. He'd be like, push harder than you've ever pushed in your life. And then he'd be like, 8. And then in the middle of the class, he started swearing. Like he swore once and then it started to spiral out of control. He's like, you have 20 minutes left and then the rest of the fucking day is yours. Dude, it was crazy.
I like this guy.
He was amazing. And then he'd be like, but then he started like he's like, okay, like bend over and grab like your feet as if you were taking a shit in your bed. And we were like, what? We're like, what? Okay. And he kept so fucking hard. And then at one point he goes, what would you say if I told you in 20, he goes, what would you say if I told you that in 20 seconds you were going to be doing a full standing plank? And Hillary literally looks over at me and she goes, I would tell you to fuck off. And I was like, dude, that's pretty good. But like, it's crazy how the the wonky fitness instructor, it's almost like a hacky thing to put in a movie because it's so cliche. But like this guy was just straight up about it. And then at the end of the class, he was like, I'm here today. I'll be here tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm burnt out. I was like, dude, Jesus Christ.
That's great, man.
But that was a Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m.
You.
But this is what allowed me to do it. Friday night had a night. I hung out with you at the beginning of that night. Then Saturday, Hill Dog came home for like 2 seconds. So we had a relaxed afternoon. We went to dinner, like nice dinner. We were back in the apartment by 8 o'clock. We were in bed by 11. Wow. So like doing an 8:30 a.m. Sunday class wasn't crazy.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good.
But dude, I have that shit is, I was so sore my entire body. I'm kind of like, dude, that seemed to be a very effective
It's
exercise.
almost not worth it unless you go again 3 days later and all of a sudden habit form it.
Totally. And then that's when the progress
all of a sudden it just stops hurting so much. I mean, it's amazing. For whatever reason, I didn't lift weights for like a week and a half. And then I went yesterday and just sort of, I know where I stand. Let's call it on like the lat pull down thing. I put it in the 13 thing. And I did it, and I did a sort of normal workout for me. And I got back upstairs and I thought I was going to throw up.
Wow.
It's from like lifting weights. I didn't even do any cardio.
Yeah, but like that isn't that's how hard one should be pushing themselves.
No,
right?
I can't even say I pushed myself that hard. It was just that I hadn't done any weightlifting in so long. I've been running a lot.
So can I ask you this? What is so you want your body to like get used to it to a degree to make progress, right?
I don't even know. Oh yeah.
But then this to sort of talk about the other side of that coin, at what point are you too used to it? And now your body's used to it and you're not making progress anymore.
I think there's all kinds of science about how varying your workouts to not allow for your muscles to get accustomed to certain movements is actually very good. Mm-hmm. At the very least, you should be increasing your weight over time and, actually building strength. But
how do you want to be super sore the next day, or do you get to a point where you can't even get that sore anymore?
There was a time when I was lifting weights pretty intensely 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week for months with a trainer. And I was never sore.
Crazy.
Ever.
Crazy.
After that.
But you were ripped?
Because strength and recovery go hand in hand.
Right.
Where the more strength you build, and I don't know if this is scientifically true, but the quicker your muscles recover. They just remesh more quickly. And then if you take time off and you go out and do those same things, that's when the soreness sets in. I found.
Okay. I have another question for you. Have you ever been to Monaco before?
Yes.
Okay. I went to dinner with Hillary's sister's fiance on Sunday. We were talking.
Just you and the guy?
Yep.
2 guys?
2 guys.
Is he a guy?
He's a guy.
Is he?
He is.
Oh, thank God.
He's cool.
I wouldn't want
He's
my sister to not marry a guy. You know, if she's gonna marry a guy, I want it to be a guy. You know what I mean?
And if this is confusing, there's a difference between a guy and a guy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we're talking
Well,
about.
I wouldn't want her to. If she's gonna marry a man or a boy, then I want it to be a guy. Not that I need her to marry a man or a boy.
Correct. We want a guy. This guy's a guy. He's a guy. And he's a guy.
Should we invite him to International Guys Day?
We could. I think he'd enjoy it.
Good.
And he's Canadian too, so he'd fit in well with the international theme.
This is growing. We got to make
The
t-shirts.
Canadian delegation.
We're gonna have to get ahead of this because the demand for the merch is gonna come up quicker than we think.
You're right.
And we don't want to be caught with our hands, sitting on our hands
On Guys Day.
on Guys Day.
So anyway, I was telling him how we were going to Monte Carlo, and he was saying that there's like a dress code for the casino. And he was like, you like pretty much have to like dress in formal attire. They won't let you in. Is that true?
Well, what I remember was that there was there were a couple different rooms, and one was in order to gamble in one of them, you couldn't wear shorts, but it was just pants. You could wear a t-shirt.
You can wear a t-shirt?
And then I think there's a more of a high roller type room where I would imagine it's nicer. Also, we were there. We went inside at 3 p.m. on a afternoon or something. I think if you went at night, maybe you'd have to be a little more dressy. I don't know.
Okay. So
Ryan's gonna have an
I have
answer
this
for us.
plan. Thank you, Ryan. That I want to surprise Hillary with like an outrageous sort of Euro baggy like San Ambrose faring Ibiza partying fucking, summer Europe guy wardrobe that I don't already have.
I didn't know where that was going at all. I thought you were gonna take her to like St. Ambrose in Europe.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not opposed to it necessarily, but I want to dress up and I want to look ridiculous.
It's so fun.
It's really fun.
I have been trying to get you
I know.
to dress ridiculous forever.
And
It's the best.
She said, please don't ruin our vacation.
Is this when you go to Italy?
So yeah, we're going to Portugal and then we're going to Monte Carlo and then we're going to Italy.
And so you want to put together some outfits for that trip.
Specifically for Monte Carlo. I want to surprise.
Nice.
I want her to come out of the bathroom with her wet hair and see me sitting there and like, that Champs-Élysées song? They're like,
Is it the one that goes, oh, Champs-Élysées, ba-da-ba-da-ba, oh, Champs-Élysées?
I think that's a different song.
Oh,
Whatever. It's
that one's called Champs-Élysées. So when you said that Champs-Élysées song, I thought, surely.
I'm sure there's multiple.
And then you did something completely different.
I'm sure there's multiple
And I thought,
songs.
I think Julio has the wrong Champs-Élysées song.
I'm going to pull it up while we're talking about this still, but
Okay.
I want to have this sort of like French guy convertible vibe. You know what I mean? I want to do that. It's going to be really fun. And I hope that it makes Hillary extremely uncomfortable in like the best way. You know what I mean?
Excellent.
Okay, here I have the song. Hold on. It's
Yeah. I don't know this song,
a
but
scarf.
I know
right?
exactly. You're in a convertible. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing. So anyway,
Love that.
I want to come in hot and shake it up a little bit.
What are you envisioning?
Maybe like a Club Monaco kind of like, I don't know, dude. Just like,
Are you just saying that because of the name?
oh wow, I didn't even do that on purpose. No, but just kind of like
Oh, you're not talking about the brand Club Monaco.
I am. But that to me, I associate that with sort of like little European guy swag, like things that are smaller, like small shirts and little pants.
Small things. Why don't you just go to like Baby Gap or Gap Kids? Why don't you just go to like the opposite of Big and Tall, whatever the hell that is? Do they have a store for men that are vertically challenged?
For little fellas.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, yeah, I want like pants that are fairly tight, maybe like a cotton polo shirt tucked into pants with a belt and a little hat.
And you should wear high-waisted pants.
Sure.
Have those puppies come all the way up.
Sure.
I mean, your nips should be resting on the belt buckles.
For sure, dude.
Mhm.
Absolutely. 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 Looks like I'm fly fishing, dude.
And then there should be a huge gap between the cuff of your pant and your shoes. And people be like, why don't you could close that gap by not wearing them so high. And you'd be like, this is the way they were meant.
The only way.
They were tailored
The
here.
only way. I need help though. Who should I ask to come help me?
Man, it'd be fun to go shopping.
I know, but I just don't know where to go. I
That's
probably
what I'm
just go to
saying.
Zara.
Why don't we do some research? Why don't we go shopping together?
We could.
We should get fucked up and go shopping.
It's pretty fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's
Zara,
fun.
I feel like Zara would have what I need, potentially. They have like a Euro section,
Yeah.
aka most of the store,
Yeah.
right? You
Mhm.
get some little stuff. I show up, I'm like, I'm looking for some little stuff. The guy's like, dude, what are you talking
Yeah. Yeah. But the problem is the problem is, dude, that little stuff can it can very quickly morph into unflattering stuff.
Which is, I'm sort of fine with that.
You're talking about like a friggin' wearing a midriff shirt, one of those crop tops or something?
No, I mean, I don't want to have my little belly hanging out.
Oh.
But like little clothes, like I could do a tuck. The tuck sort of like mitigates any sort of like unpleasant spillover from my fat.
Are you going to be wearing really tight shirts and pants?
I'd like to be in a perfect world, but I think we could just like, I can pull it a little bit out of the tuck, but I like the pants to be fairly tight. I want to hear a comment of Hillary going, you're tushy, honey. I want that to occur. Maybe a little like a polo, bro, like a cotton polo. I envision the cotton polo and a belt.
What about a
Pants,
white
little
cable
shoes.
knit V-neck sweater,
Sounds pretty good.
which you could take off and tie over your shoulders?
That sounds pretty good. That sounds great. I might have to bring back the little shoes.
I'm thinking some purple velvet loafers.
Oh, that's very fun. That's
Some purple
super fun.
velves.
Super fun.
Pointy.
Pointy.
No socks. Very high cuffed pants.
Yep.
Pants that are cuffed high, really high.
Yep.
Take your shoes off. Walk through a disaster area. No problem.
Okay, dude. What if I did this too?
Flood zone.
What if I? What if
Trying to find your family.
Trying to.
Where's the Red Cross tent? Go to the wall of Polaroid photos. Add the photo of Hill
Where's the Red
Dog.
Cross tent?
You know, is there any cell service?
It'd be impossible.
Why are there so many helicopters in the air, but nobody?
Hey!
Yeah, nobody knows anything.
Hey!
Yeah.
I could also do the like 180 look of that. I could do the sort of like loitering European guy look with like the long jean shorts, a graphic t-shirt, and my hair sort of like spiked downward icily. Maybe let the back grow out a little bit too, and just look like I'm looking around, smoking cigs.
Yeah. I'm
doing
picturing
filter pics.
a British, punky youth, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're
Sure. Just like, or even just like the guys who look like other Europeans are like racist towards them or something. Like the Turkish guy hanging out in Sweden
Sure.
look.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With like the little hair.
Yeah.
Get some scorn.
This is great. I like this. I like where this
It's a
is
fun
going.
exercise.
I like where this is going. My problem, as I think I've told you, is that when I buy a bunch of fun outfits with the idea to wear them on different days of a trip to Lake Como, as I did, I have the whole thing planned out, but then I get too excited and I just wear my best outfit on the first day. And then I wear my second best outfit on the second day.
Blow your
And then
load.
by the end of it, I've dwindled down to my worst stuff.
First lap runner.
I get too excited.
It's all right, man. You
I
know,
get too
but
excited.
who's to say that the first night isn't the best night to wear it on?
That's right.
It's better to blow your load in that way than to get too hammered the first night and never recover, which
That's
I
probably
often
true.
do at a
That's
wedding.
probably true. Yeah. Yeah.
Then I'm so hungover the whole time I actually can't get drunk again. And also because I'm like eating all day.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it easier.
Damn. Wow. So tell me about this trip you have coming up. You've got Portugal.
So Hillary's very clever. We have a wedding in Italy, and are you okay?
Yeah, I'm cramping. Sorry.
Oh shit. Francis is cramping. What is it?
It was my hamstring.
Oh, it's the worst one.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
caught it in time. Straightened my leg. It was gonna turn into like a legitimate ball.
Yeah, it's happened to me. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
So anyway, she,
Sorry about
no,
that.
you're good. You're good. So we have to go to a wedding. So we've built out the trip. And Hillary's sister is living in Portugal for a couple months. So we're going to visit her. And then we're going to make our way over to this wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long are you gone for?
I think like 8 days or 9 days. Yeah.
That's
solid.
amazing.
Pretty solid.
And are you flying from place to place?
So flying to Portugal, obviously, and then flying to Monaco. And then we are taking a train to Italy where we are renting a car, driving to the wedding, driving to Milan, dropping off the car, flying back. If all things
Nice.
work out.
Good planning.
That is the logistics.
Where is the wedding in Italy?
It's in like the Turin area.
Yeah, where they had the Winter Olympics.
Mhm.
Torino.
That was one of your good
Yeah.
calls when we were doing the Winter Olympics recounting.
Torino.
But dude, I did a solid for myself. So there's this app. I'm not even, this company doesn't pay us, but this is a useful app for flights. It's called Hopper. And
I've heard of this.
it sort of tells you if the price that exists currently is competitive. So if it's not, it'll be like flights might go down. You should maybe wait.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put a calendar reminder every single morning. And when I wake up, I just check to see. So Hillary's already there. So I'm searching for flights to go to Portugal. And I'm checking every day. And every day they're so expensive. $1,200, $1,300, $1,000. Fuck. It sucks, but whatever. Like I'll bite the bullet if I have to. I keep checking. One day, $320.
The
Pops
same
up.
flight you'd been looking for?
Yep.
Same airline?
No, different airline. But they like new flights just popped up, $320. Nabbed it immediately.
Wow.
I know.
What a winning story.
I know.
You don't hear that too often.
Dude, massive. And I'm pretty committed to doing this in general, especially if I have road dates. Like instead of blowing my load and using miles like way in advance, I just check Hopper and see if the flight prices are going to go down and
That's
I wait.
excellent.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. That was
Huge win. What's
felt
the
pretty
airline?
It's called Azores Airlines,
Uh-huh.
which by the way goes to, I've actually looked up how to pronounce it multiple times because it's like,
I always thought it was
Portuguese
the
and-
Azores.
You might be right. I forget. Ryan, can you pull up the YouTube thing of it? But do you know where they are, bro? Do you know where they are, bro?
Are they pretty
Azores.
Are they pretty deep off the coast of Portugal?
They're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
And they are part of Portugal.
Yes. My hope, and they are a destination on the Traveler Century Club. So and I only have an hour layover. I'm praying that I get delayed in the Azores so I get to actually hang out and add it to the list and check it out. I'm the only guy who's hoping that his flight's delayed. But yeah, and then it breaks up the trip really nicely too.
That's great.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
they
finding
look
the
pretty
pronunciation.
stunning. Not gonna lie.
Gorgeous.
NGL.
No, so Ryan, I was actually asking about the pronunciation video. Although, thank you for showing me that. That's gorgeous. So anyway, I do have a connection, which I'm fine with. One stop is fine in the situation. The directs were too expensive for me at least. And rock and roll, bro.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very good.
very very good.
Well, here's Ryan trying to figure out how to pronounce Azores.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Azores.
Hmm.
Very good.
Cool.
Dude, so Ryan and I were on a call today, actually, with a potential sponsor. We were chatting it up, and I made a fairly big mistake at the beginning of the call.
Uh-oh.
I think that I remedied it, but leading up to this, it was fine. Leading up to this call, the guy who we were corresponding with was saying, "My boss is getting married. Sorry, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. My boss is getting married. My boss is getting married. Great, whatever." I log into the Zoom call, and he's sitting with somebody, and then there's another screen that just has one person on it. So I don't know why my brain immediately thought that person is the boss.
Yeah.
But I was like, so I said to her, I was like, "Congrats on being married, on getting married." And she's like, "Oh, no, that's not me. That's her." And I was like, "Fuck, dude." I think it was fine though.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Hopefully.
I love that that's a big mistake for you.
It's
You
just
know what
so
a big mistake for me is?
it's presumptuous though.
It's like falling down the stairs.
but dude, it was very presumptuous of me. But thank God it wasn't like a gender thing where like I
Right.
assumed the man was the boss or something. Thank God. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought this lady was the fucking boss.
I am getting more and more afraid of staircases.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
Fear
because
of-
we have a pretty nasty one. It's metal.
Oh, you do, yeah. You
The
do.
steps you could grate zucchini chips
And
on it.
if you have socks on, it's slippery.
Oh yeah. And there's just not that much there's not that much surf. They're not that deep each step,
Yeah.
you know?
You
So-
could definitely die falling down those.
Yeah. And
you definitely could, dude.
I do this thing where I carry Kojai up and down the stairs because I believe in preserving his hip
That's
joints.
very sweet of you.
And
Wear and tear.
if I'm going to take him up the stairs and then back down later, I whisper in his ear, "You've got a round trip ticket. How about a round tripper?" I let him know that we're coming back up and going back down. And I tell him it's a round trip ticket that he's got. So
He does.
at night, I will walk him down the stairs, and he's cumbersome. He's like carrying a big sack of potatoes. And so I can't really use one hand on the railing. And so I'm holding Kojai and walking, typically in my socks,
Yeah,
down
It's dangerous.
the staircase. And I have this thing where, have I told you this?
No.
I go really slowly and make sure that I've found the next step before I put my weight on
It's
it.
good to be doing. That's good, dude.
And he starts to wonder, man, why are we going so slowly? This is such a
Does he squirm?
no.
If he were to, you could fall.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I
I
know.
think he knows the stakes.
You should, dude. You need to be one arming Kojai. You can handle it. Prop him up over
Sometimes
your
I
shoulder.
think about that. Sometimes I carry him at my hip like a
Oh.
massive machine gun, and I pretend like I'm gonna just mow down the Viet Cong.
like a Gatling gun.
Yeah, and you gotta hold it at your hip, just
Oh yeah.
like one of those guns that they've taken off the helicopter, and a human being shouldn't be carrying it. But so I get halfway down the steps, and I get to this point, and then I do this every single time. I say in my head, okay, I've reached a point now where if I fell, I don't think I would die.
Okay.
So I pick up my speed a little. And then there's 4 steps left.
Hubris.
And I say, I've reached a point now where if I fell, I don't even think I would break anything.
Right.
And then by the last step, I feel like I've conquered
Yeah.
something meaningful.
Yeah.
And I've overcome a major challenge. And I don't know why stairs are not, we take them for granted,
Yeah.
but they,
If you, the day you stop treating it like that is the day where you'll be at risk.
you ever fall down the stairs
Yeah.
as an adult?
As a child, as an adult, I haven't.
When was the last time you fell down some stairs? Not all the stairs, but fell down some stairs.
My cousins dressed me up like a woman and put me in high heels when I was like 8,
Yeah.
and I fell down the stairs because of the heels. I tumbled all the way
You
down.
tried to take the stairs in heels?
I was sort of like strutting my stuff, I was,
Yeah.
and I fell down the stairs, and it was a very significant staircase.
Oh man. You'd occasionally go to that friend's house where the stairs were carpeted
Oh yeah.
and you might slip. But you would just ride it down like it was
You
a
could
toboggan. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. And your butt would be banging at the tops of it, but it was all somehow it worked out okay.
I preferred the danger of a clean staircase though over the carpeted. Personally, I'm not a big carpeted staircase guy
No, I'm not a big
from an aesthetic perspective.
yeah.
Want to know what's really weird? Yesterday, I was like running down the stairs, and I was like, it would be fucking terrible if I just fell down these stairs.
Yeah.
And it was these same
Yeah.
stairs.
Dude, I'll tell you what, it's one of the it blows my mind how many quote good movies that are either good or that we all consider good. The like big twist is that somebody fell and died. Like they reveal who the killer was.
Yeah.
They show what happened, and he like smacked the person in the face, and then they somehow fall and hit their head and die. It's insane. Like,
Right.
are we really? Can we not think of a better? That one, and the other twist is he's still alive.
Yeah.
That's also so stupid.
Yeah.
Turned out he was alive this whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I like that. He's on a desert island. Little Shawshank Redemption. Let me tell you about this. So I had a deadline yesterday,
Mhm. What was
where
it for?
I had gotten car insurance
yeah.
for us.
You were telling me.
But
about
if
this.
you get car insurance on a used car, you have to get it inspected. You have to do a Caso inspection. Ever heard of this?
No, it's when the guy comes over.
No.
It's different.
Well, I had done that.
Yeah, you keep that. It wasn't available for this.
This is a different thing. And it's so that when you need to basically start your new insurance with a blank slate,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if I've gotten my car insurance, and I think they insure you for like 2 weeks on good faith that you're not just buying insurance on an already totaled car
And like
and then
fucking
calling them
ripping it
the
through the
next day
desert.
and being like, "Oh, bad news! I got into a head-on collision,"
Right.
and then they buy you basically a new car or whatever. But I had a 2-week grace period, and of course I left it until the last day,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started calling up these Caso inspection sites, and I found one in deep Brooklyn, and I called them, and they said, "Yeah, you could come in today." So I drove all the way out there. I get there, and I mean, this is a part in New York I didn't even know existed.
Where was it?
It was like, I don't.
Was it in the city? Technically.
No.
No?
It was in probably Brooklyn, bordering on Queens.
Okay, but like in one of the 5 boroughs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't. I'm so curious. Is there a way to find out?
I'll look up. Yeah, look up 222 India Street.
Oh, that's in Greenpoint. Is it not?
I
Isn't
think
Indies-
you're right.
Yeah.
How did you know that? Do you
Yeah,
know
India Street.
addresses in
I know.
New
I mean,
York?
I'm like technically from Brooklyn originally. I do know Brooklyn fairly well, but like
Jeez,
What?
yeah, I live up.
Chris lives in the neighborhood too. Yeah.
But this is a part of Greenpoint. Like
it's getting up there.
it
yeah.
wasn't
like in
anything
the
like where we
industrial
visited you.
area?
But Chris told me this. The streets are actually in alphabetical order
Yes.
from the perpendicular streets,
Oh, that's nice.
which is interesting. So it
Yeah.
makes it easier. But India is like close to the top.
It was all auto body
Yeah,
shops.
there's a lot of warehouses.
That's
yeah,
all
it's in
what
the-
the whole
yeah.
thing was.
Yeah.
And so I pulled in there, and they had told me to ask for Priscilla. And I walked into the little shop, 3 ladies looking around. "Hi, I'm supposed to find Priscilla." One of them speaks up. I say, "I've got to do the Caso." She says, "Okay, I got it." So she comes out, and she just, quickly inspects the car, gets the odometer reading and stuff like that. Then she starts explaining to me what we're doing and sort of what I have to do next.
Mhm.
And dude, it was as though she was an automated recording.
Para español,
She spoke.
marque número 2.
She spoke so quickly and did not flub a word, and it was technical language.
Priscilla.
Okay, you're gonna have to do this. You'll take your car to this place. This is the address. Fill out this form here. Use your legal name. Blah blah blah. And my only idea was that either this woman does this 15 times a day and has been doing it for so many years that she has no choice but to have it committed to memory,
Mhm.
or she's so good at her job that she's just got it down
Yeah.
and learned it.
Yeah.
Either way,
Impressive.
the whole process went as fast as was humanly possible, thanks to Priscilla.
Thanks, Priscilla. We appreciate you.
And I was very grateful to her.
222 India Street.
Yeah.
Awesome. Really great, man.
Do you ever tip people just for being great at their job?
Maybe.
Should I have tipped her?
I don't know. It may not have made sense in that scenario, but any sort of like skilled labor or like, I try to have tip money available. And yeah, I don't know. Whenever I travel anywhere, I try to bring 50 singles.
You've told me that.
Just
It's a
in
good
case.
play.
It's a solid little move.
Priscilla ended this by saying, do you have any further questions for me? I said, no. She goes, okay, great. Enjoy the weather.
Really nice. I'll tell you what I do, and you could still do. This is what I do. For example, Alamo Place at Astor Place. Amanda, the person who works there,
Yeah.
was so wonderful that I messaged the company saying how wonderful she was.
Pretty good move.
Because tipping her would be a little weird. You know, this is sort of like her career. It almost feels like condescending.
It's demeaning.
So, but just because it's out of place, it's not that tipping is by no means condescending. I used to teach tennis.
Right.
Tips were
It's always good.
incredible.
Right.
You know, they're amazing. But it's not. It doesn't really work in that setting, I don't think. But being like, you're the best. I love you all. The other girl's name was Winnie.
I like that name.
She was lovely. I liked it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just sent. I gave them good feedback from the formal thing, and I also contacted them and told them that she was wonderful.
How did you even find an employee review portal?
Because they emailed it to me,
And you committed to it.
and she sent this email to me being like, "Hey, blah blah
Asking
blah
you
blah
to
blah," which I had never I've never gotten before. I've rented like a million cars,
Mm.
and I've never had the manager send me an email directly.
Wow.
So, and she like remembered stuff. And also like one weekend they knew it was my birthday and they gave me an upgrade for free, which by the way, I got confused about what the car was. So like, do you want this car? And I was like, yeah. And this like muscle car pulls up like, vroom. And I was like, dude, like the Knight Rider car. I'm like, oh wait, I don't want this. I was like, can you send that back? I don't want this thing. So then they swapped it out for me, but whatever. So it is nice and was nice.
That's good.
Something very specific and random and something that I find very funny happened to me and I'd like to share.
Good.
I maybe told this story, but there's a follow-up to it. So very quickly, one time I actually have never told this story. I was out one night and I saw a guy who I used to work with. And like in the very recent past, I just worked with this guy. We were super cool. We had hugged many times. We'd hugged. And I see him in public with somebody. And I don't know what was happening, but I was like, Sean, good to see you. And he just went, nah, dude. And I was like, and he has a very specific noticeable scar too. Like it was him.
Uh-huh.
And I was just blown away. I'm like, what could possibly be happening here where he's denying that he's him? He was with somebody. I don't know if there was something weird about that. But then I was like, I have to figure out what's happening here. So I followed him. And I doubled down. I was like, Sean, you're Sean, dude. And he was like, nah, dude. And I was like, what the? So I continued the pursuit. And eventually I'm like, you're Sean. And he's like, okay, yes. And I was like, what?
Well, you admitted to it.
He eventually admitted
So
that.
you didn't have his name wrong.
No, bro. I worked with this guy. I sat next to him in the office for 7 months. I knew him well. And he's a great dude. Like one of the best water cooler guys in the game. Hey, what's up? He'd come lean over your thing. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck? And the other day, I'm walking out of your apartment. I see him walking by. Didn't say hi. I learned my lesson. And I think at this point, actually, he wouldn't remember me. But I did not stop and say, hey, Sean, because I was afraid of
I don't know why he would have done that.
I can't figure it out.
Unless he's on the run and trying to change his identity.
He was with a girl, and I don't know if I was trying to think of what could possibly have happened. All right, and this was something that I thought of.
Maybe
It's
he
probably not
catfished
true.
her and he's going by David.
Maybe he's married and this isn't his wife.
Yeah.
And he, like you said, made up a name, or I couldn't, or maybe they were in a fight and he was like, now's not a good time.
There's a better way to do that.
But anyway, I saw him last week outside of your apartment.
Damn.
And I was like,
I'm going to look out for Sean now myself. I'm going to keep an eye out for him and I'll be like, Sean.
keep your eyes peeled for Sean,
I
dude.
know who you are.
Okay. Before we wrap it up here, why don't we do a little Ryan fact?
Facts with Ryan.
Facts with Ryan.
Okay, so we started off with torture today. So just another fun one that I found. Have you ever heard of scaphism?
No.
So essentially, someone is tied up and in a metal box outside in the open, and they're force-fed milk and honey until they vomit on themselves. This diet causes the victim to have severe diarrhea, and rats and stinging insects will come and eat the victim alive over several days.
Oh my God.
Pilots, an airline transport pilot can fly up to 8 hours per 24-hour period and up to 10 hours if there's a second pilot on board.
Nice.
The cortical artery is in the neck.
What is it? The cortical?
Cortical artery.
Oh.
So that's in the neck.
I thought it was the cortirid.
Cortirid. I think it's the same thing.
Okay, all right.
Monte Carlo casino dress code: no shorts, no t-shirts, no short sleeve shirts or sweatshirts. You can wear dark jeans. You can wear dark sport shoes, but you can't wear white tennis shoes.
Wow,
And then
it is
Good to
dressier than
know,
I
wow.
thought.
a couple little people brands include Breeze and One Stone. And
Nice.
there's not that many others, so there's either custom or the children's section.
Okay.
And then about 12,000 people per year die by accident by falling down the stairs.
12,000 a year?
Yep.
That's way more than
That's
I
a
thought.
lot. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
That's a lot of people. Stairs are the
silent killer.
Silent killer. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
There's over 1 million injuries a year, but 12K.
Wow,
Damn,
dude.
bro.
That's what I'm talking about.
Guys, be careful going up and down those stairs.
Yeah.
There's comedy in there. So we got a question from a listener, and it's a pretty straightforward question that to me, there's an obvious answer. But then I'm like, oh, I forgot that like people who don't do comedy might not understand stuff. So this is something that I don't know if everybody else is wondering this too, but this was the question. He goes, I'm wondering if you guys could talk about / answer on the pod this question that I've always had that has eluded me. What do comics mean when they say how great a crowd was or is? This is potentially painfully obvious, but it seems to be something that's really important to comics because they say it all the time
Mhm.
and say it as though the majority of the crowds were not great. Yeah, you want to tackle it first, Francis?
Well, sure. I mean, there's just nights where the crowd is in unison. Everybody in the whole crowd is laughing. They're the perfect level of drunkenness, all of them, and they all have energy. They're all excited to see the show. There's no bad apples, no hecklers, no overly sensitive people. They're laughing at exactly the right time.
And it's also not one of those situations where they're having a good time, but they're not showing it. Or they're like, because there's like smiley audiences where you might be doing fine and people might be liking it, but they're not giving you anything.
Right.
There's no feedback.
There are also kind of crowds that'll laugh, but the laugh will die quickly. They'll give you a and then and you normally expect more time.
No momentum.
And they're just, you got to constantly feed them more
Yeah.
because the morsels you're giving them are being devoured and disappearing in seconds.
And the crowd like that isn't bad. You know what I mean? Like the different variables that we're describing, if any of them happen, if there's a bad apple, if there's a heckler, if they're sort of the like laugh and deflate, that doesn't make a crowd bad.
Right.
A bad crowd is you're fucking bombing, and it might be you and it might be them.
Right.
You know, it's sometimes it's unclear. Sometimes it is clear, especially if somebody before you was really good and then you are not doing very good.
Right.
You're like, what's happening? But we do it enough that we're used to differing kinds of crowds. And I've noticed that certain onlookers can't always tell about the sort of audience reaction.
Right.
They don't understand that, which is nice to hear because I'm like, okay, like I'm just hypersensitive to this.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever let a crowd know after a set if they've been bad?
Never. And a lot of people do, like most comics do it. And it blows my mind, actually. You guys have been alive. I'm so-and-so.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. I guess it's whatever, but I do not do that.
Subconsciously, this is what I do. And I didn't even realize I did this until a host pointed it out. When it goes well and the crowd's great, I say, thank you very much. I'm Francis Ellis. Good night. When it goes okay and the crowd's bad, I just say, thank you very much. Good night. I don't tell them my name.
Who noticed
I
this?
think it might have been Colum.
I was going to guess that it was him.
I think it might have
He
been
seems like
Colum.
a guy who would pick up on that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because if you think when they're really good, you're like, I want you people to remember me.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
you to look me up. I want you to stay with me. I'm Francis Ellis. Here's my calling card.
Yeah,
You know, see you later.
that's good.
Other bad crowds, you're like,
Yeah.
I wish I were wearing a mask up here. You know?
Cool, man.
Awesome. Speaking of comedy, I am at the Arlington Draft House July 22nd and 23rd. I am at Helium St. Louis with Lil Sass from Barstool Sports July 28th to the 30th. I'll be in Red Bank, New Jersey, also with Lil Sass, August 10th. Tickets for all these shows are at francisellis.com.
Awesome. I am this weekend. I'm going to be in Tampa area at Side Splitters and Wesley Chapel in St. Petersburg, Thursday through Sunday. So hope to see you guys there. Also, Crocodile in Seattle, July 28th. I have a Boston show coming up soon too. I'm locking that date in right now, but I look forward to seeing you there. You can get tickets on my website, notjulio.com. Oh, fuck.
Oh, shoot. Facts
Sorry.
with Ryan.
Okay, wait a second. Is there a way that, because I'm afraid that people are going to turn it off before we get to that. So is there a way to splice Ryan facts in first? Okay,
Yeah, just
I'll
put
do
it
it
in.
like
Put this in right before I say, speaking of comedy.
Yeah.